La-da-da-da-da. And the beat goes on.
Yes, the beat goes on.
And the beat goes on.
And the beat goes on.
The beat goes on.
On, and the beat goes on. You know, if you really listen to the words to that song, it's a pretty cool song. Who was that? Sonny and Cher. And the beat goes on back from 1967. Because the beat just keeps going on. Men still go off to war. I mean, you just listen to that song. The words are just really pretty fantastic. And that was back in 1967, folks. Have we advanced at all? That is the question. Sometimes we think we've done such a good job of advancing just to find out. And the beat goes on. All right, I'm Ann Eller. Good morning. How you doing? Yes, we're here for a little coffee chats community. We're all right here. Grab your coffee, grab your tea. Penny and I will be with you today. That's right. Penny's here. Let's see. Can we see a picture of Penny? Just snoozing. How you doing, Penny? You want a little snack stealer here this morning? Snack stealer? Da, 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 da. Why can't I do this? There we go. Snack stealer coming at you here this morning. Woo-hoo. Would you like a little snack, Penny? You know, this is like the Princess Penny gets fed bonbons sitting in her chair there. Yes, the snack stealer, stealer, and I am the snack dealer. How sweet it is. All right, let's get ready here to get rolling here. I've got Penny, I've got you, I've got me. We're ready for a good day. Got a lot to talk about. First up, though, let's do the weather. The weather, the weather, the weather. Ooh, I can't wait to tell you some of the things I got to talk about here this morning. The weather, though, is important. Right now it is 77 degrees. Feels like 77 degrees. We actually should keep up with how many days out of a year does it actually feel like the temperature that it is. Like it's 77 and it feels like 77. We are looking for a high today of 84, a low of 69. And looks like we probably going to get some rain. We didn't really get any rain yesterday, I don't believe. But today we're clocking in at about a 65 to 70% chance of rain. So mostly cloudy this morning with thunderstorms developing this afternoon. Winds light and variable. So that's what we're looking at for today. Tonight, a stray shower or thunderstorm is possible early, partly cloudy. So Wednesday, what are we looking for? We're looking for hump day. That's right. High of 87, low of 71, and the rain is going to be pretty much gone. Maybe a 20% of a stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Thursday comes in with a high of 87, low of 70. Do you need another snack, my dear? Do you need another snack, Steeler? Do we need a snack? Thursday, a high of 87, low of 70, and for about a 50% chance of rain. And what do we got for Friday? God, the weekend's going to be here before you know it, folks. Do you ever feel like we're just on a treadmill every day? Woo! Okay, Friday comes in high of 88, low of 71, about a 40% chance of rain on Friday, and Saturday, high of 90, low of 71, and about a 30% chance of rain. Is it out of here by Sunday? No, it's still here. By Monday, we're down to about a 20% chance of rain. So that's what we're looking for. And Penny is sitting up here today saying, "Where's my snacks? I need snacks. Give me snacks because I am the snack stealer. Snack stealer. Would you like another little treat, Miss Penny? Here you go. Okay. Penny's had another treat now. I think she should be good for the show. All right. What else do I have here today? Well, I wanted to start out this morning because this is important. If Jeff was here, we would definitely be working on making this one a reality, because today is National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. I'm talking about the really good chocolate chip cookies, not those ones that you go, oh, this'll do. You know, those homemade ones that are warm and gooey and just so delicious that you get it on your fingers. You know, you get the milk chocolate from those Nestle chocolate chips on your fingers. Did you know that was invented? It's National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. It was invented by Ruth Wakefield at the Toll House Inn in the 1930s. This is just a nice story to remember. This iconic treat is the absolute gold standard of the bakery world. Today is your formal green light to bake a fresh batch or stop by your favorite local bakery for a warm chocolate chip gooey cookie. And Penny goes, huzzah, I'm in. She's just looking at me. You should check this out. Anyways, we're on Facebook Live. And we're also on the radio. Check, check. And we have the mics on. Before I begin, okay, wait a minute. I got to tell you this other story. Stay focused, Dan. Stay focused. All right. It is the neighborhood block party with National Night Out. Now, I am going to tell you, years ago, when I was doing radio, and I think it was Sonny Cox that was the community person at the police station before he became the coroner. National Night Out was a super event, and it used to be here in Greenwood. I don't know why they stopped it. I don't know why they couldn't get everybody together on the same page or what the deal was. But this was a great event where each neighborhood would serve, I don't know, hot dogs, hamburgers, just get together, chips. And the idea is that it's celebrated on the first Tuesday of August. This national campaign brings neighbors, local law enforcement, and first responders together for block parties, cookouts, and community safety events. It's a wonderful reminder that safe, strong communities start with knowing the people who live right next door. You know, excuse me. We always talk about the nosy neighbor, but a nosy neighbor is actually a good neighbor because they know what's going on at your house. They know if you're home. They know if something's wrong at your house next door. And in a lot of aspects, have we gotten away from that? That is the question. Have we left that philosophy behind? Because when you talk about fighting crime in neighborhoods, when we talk about some of the gun violence we've had in our neighborhoods, would it be a good idea to have the grandmother approach? You know, before, or your parents, you know, before you got home, somebody had already called and said what bad thing you had done and your mom was waiting for you. Well, maybe not to that extreme, but the idea of knowing neighbors, the idea of sitting on the front porch and waving at who's across the street, those are things that we have lost. And so that was the good thing about National Night Out. It brought law enforcement, first responders, and the people that live in the area. I can actually remember, and I think it was with Sonny Cox, going from one event to the other event to another event to be able to see what each one was doing. And each neighborhood was doing something different. So I would love to see National Night Out come back to Greenwood, and all the different communities celebrate and work to have something special for their neighborhood. It builds community relationships, and that is something we surely could use. So we'll have to talk to TJ Shadone this afternoon because he's coming on this afternoon at 5 p.m. to be my very special guest right here on Meet Me at the Diner. So 5 p.m. TJ Shadone, I invite you to join us for that hour that I'm sure is going to be jam-packed with information and what's happening. And if you've got a question or a comment, please make sure you send it to us. You can send it to us via email, wcrsinfo@gmail.com. That's wcrsinfo@gmail.com. Or you can call or text 864-332-9355. That's 864-332-9355. So if you got a question, I love it when you go ahead and send me those questions early rather than when we're on the fly, although there's no problem with you sending them on the fly, but it sometimes makes it a little easier to work it in if you send it earlier in the day. So that's our very special guest today, 5 p.m. But it is National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day and National Night Out Day. One more that I just think is important. It's National Coast Guard Day, commemorating the establishment of the Revenue Cutter Service by Alexander Hamilton on August 4, 1790. Today honors the maritime heroes who protect our coast, perform daring sea rescues, and keep our waterways secure in every single day. So this is, of course, as we look at our international waters and the Strait of Hormuz and whether they're going to get that opened up, our Coast Guard, our National Coast Guard people are very, very important. So that's a few of the things on the international scene or on the national scene or on just Chocolate Chip Cookie Day that I felt were important. Sorry. Anyways, let's get started with some stories here this morning because that's what I'm all about, the stories. Before I get started, though, I have to laugh. I just have to laugh. I personally have never seen this, but last night I saw it, and what a hoot. I was watching the debate. The debate, of course, was, there was a debate. It kind of popped up on me. I didn't even know it was happening till like 4 or 5 o'clock. I started getting all these messages. I was like, wait a minute, there's a debate tomorrow night. Well, there was also a debate last night. So they go through the debate, and I'll come back and talk about that in just a second. They go through the debate, get to the end, and they've got the spin room, and they've got 3 of the 5 candidates came to the spin room, and the press people asked them questions, yada, yada. Okay, that's great. Now they get to the end, and the guy is doing a roundup about what was said. And there is silence, and this guy is just talking away and motioning and all this kind of stuff, and there is silence. So I go, oh my God, his mic is off. So I send a message, can't hear you. And then I look at all the messages coming in. Everybody's saying, can't hear you, can't hear you. Well, at least on WCRS, my audience is so engaged that if you're not getting my attention on Facebook, guess what? You text me, you call me, you do any of a number of things. But they never got it fixed. And there must have been some technical snafu because all of a sudden the channel that it was saying, we're having technical difficulties. Well, then the end came, and he came back on, and he said this, or something close to this. I'm really sorry y'all couldn't hear me. We are here live on YouTube, and there are so many buttons to push here, I can't get the right button pushed. I almost lost it. Yes, I can commensurate with this, but this is the first time I've seen somebody else, and this went on for the whole rest of the show, so they kind of lost it there in the end. But I wanted to share that because so many times you think you are an island, and sometimes people go, oh, it happens all the time to other people, and this is the first time I've actually seen it. All right, moving on here this morning. That Senate debate, they had 5 major candidates on the stage: Russell Fry, Ralph Norman, Sanford, Mark Lynch, Mark Sanford, Mark Lynch, and Darlene Graham. I guess she's dropped her last name for the sake of the campaign. And it was pretty interesting, pretty what I would consider. It wasn't a lot of fireworks or anything. And of course, you know, doing away with an audience has a tendency, I think, to do away with the fireworks because nobody is bolstered by the clapping or the booing or whatever it is. So I covered a lot of different issues. You can go back actually and watch it on YouTube if you're interested. I don't think I really, it was not a decision maker for me. It was not a decision maker for me. Russell Fry is touting himself as the young guy. I think he could say the young guy, new blood, this type of thing. Ralph Norman is saying that he is the guy that's been there and he is ready and the Senate is broken. I think that's the biggest thing that all of them could agree on, that the Senate is broken. I don't really think that anybody gave us an answer on how the brokenness can be fixed, but they all agreed it was broken. I was surprised, actually, how well Mark Sanford did on that stage and how he was constantly able to tie things back to when he was in office. Now, of course, the question is it relevant to today? I think the one thing they all are on the same page is a $39 trillion debt is just not something that can continue. And one of them said we'd add another trillion, oh my God, to our debt. So what is the answer about the debt? How are they going to get that under control? Darlene, I think people were looking for her to have something, maybe something that would show why she should be the next senator. She was, I guess I would say she was very safe out there, very safe. It was a little uncomfortable, and rightfully so. A big stage for her. She did make the case that she had handled an agency from her work experience, but I think the question remains in everybody's mind, can somebody who is on the coattails of her brother actually take over that position? But on the other hand, all the other candidates, put them all together, I didn't see the excitement of anyone coercing. I read a lot of the comments, and it was pretty divided amongst who people wanted. And I will say this, Annie Andrews, who is the Democratic candidate, has to be sitting there watching this intently, trying to figure out, is there any difference between the five candidates that it matters not which one wins, which I think is rather interesting position too. So that's what I'd have to say about the debate. There is another debate tonight. That one is tonight. They are basically the same type of format. It is August 4th on Nexstar Media. So it will have same setup. And it is August 4th at 7 p.m. and a digital post show will follow. No in-studio audience. So that's what we got for this afternoon. These two debates are probably it for seeing how they interact with each other. If you're really interested in the candidates, you're going to have to do some studying on your own. We're checking to see how many of them we can get right here on WCRS radio. So stay tuned. We may have a candidate-orama Okay, you have 5 minutes to tell us why you should be the next one and move on. I don't know. We're trying to work it out. We'll see what we end up with. So that's what people need to do is follow and try to make some good decisions. There was a debate last night and the debate tonight. Check that out. All right, now moving on to another topic. And the topic is the economy in South Carolina. Businesses opening up, businesses reopening up. And I don't know if you saw this story or not, but Century Aluminum from down in Mount Holly is back to full production for the first time in more than a decade. More than a decade. How about that? They've added about 150 jobs back, and there's roughly 600 workers at the facility to increase U.S. aluminum production, which is important because national security connection to aircraft, military equipment, and manufacturing. So that is a huge one. It has been shut down for years, or not maybe shut down, but running at lower capacity. There's the word I'm looking for. So it's back to full production after a decade of lower capacity. So it's been operating at half capacity in 2015 amid a dispute over power rates. So that's where that came from. But evidently they have got it worked out. And as they did this, they had a sign up there behind all the workers standing there with their hard hats and everything. It says, "Make aluminum great again." I didn't know we'd ever lost it from being a great again. So that's what's going on. The smelter spent about $50 million to restart an idle portion of the plant, which added back the 150 jobs. So then one of the CEO says, "American aluminum keeps our country running." There you go. I did not know that, but we should know that. So this is a good thing. We'll find out more about that story later. They did credit the Trump administration taxes on aluminum imports with saving the plant. So that's just a little aside on that story. Now, on to another story here that has to do with economy. You remember that snafu where they started to build the Panthers stadium there and that kind of just fell apart? Well, by God, the state of South Carolina has come home with a win. And I think it is a win. It is a win. I'm not being sarcastic. I really am being serious. It is a win. So what is happening here? They've gotten a $1.5 billion total commitment by Octapharma for its new biopharmaceutical campus. There'll be more than 1,500 positions expected over the decade, averaging pay over $100,000 per year. Those are good jobs. Location is the 50 acres within the rebranded. They've changed it from the Panthers stadium area to the Palmetto Research Park off Interstate 77 in York County. Operations are scheduled to begin in the mid-2030s. So that's one part of the story. Also, Novant Health purchasing 25 adjacent acres for a separate $300 million medical campus, creating 250 jobs, with construction eyed to start early in 2027. You know, this is the thing that always gets me, folks. We have a $300 million medical campus creating roughly 250 jobs. Do you remember the day where, 100,000, I don't know, I'm just throwing out a figure, equaled, 100 jobs, 250 jobs, 100,000. Now you've got to spend $300 million just to be able to get 250 jobs. So the 200-plus acre property was left in limbo after the Carolina Panthers owner halted construction on a planned team headquarters in 2022. So that's Novant Health is purchasing that. Octapharma, kind of like that name, Octapharma, on its new biopharmaceutical campus. Now, you might say, what is Octapharma? Well, it's a good question to ask. What is Octapharma? I happen to know the answer to that, folks, and what they're going to be doing. It is plasma-based therapies will be manufactured on this site. It's a plasma fractionation. How do you like that word? There's a big word. Adding 3.5 million liters of annual plasma collection capacity to the global supply chain. They say this is very, very important. It has to do with critical care and trauma medicines, hematology, blood disorders, immunology. They're talking about all this. And this is one I did not know. National security supplies. The facility's output is specifically designed to boost domestic emergency preparedness, ensuring the U.S. has local supply of blood plasma medicines to hedge against international supply chain disruptions. How do you like that? There's a big purpose here. And this is the first campus that Octapharma is building in the U.S. They're actually, I believe, a Swiss company. So that's a little bit about that one. I found this fascinating. I also wanted to share with you, if you have a second, how they are, how they are doing this, because they did get some incentives. It is getting substantial state-level grants, tax credits, and local multi-party fee structures will specialize in developing critical life-saving medicines. So they got a huge $65 million infrastructure grant. I'm not going to read all of it, but it is interesting how they came up with all these credits and everything. They got a FILO agreement and revenue split. They got job development and credits too. So just let you know that the state of South Carolina had this opportunity, and by George, they completed it. Just looking at it, it doesn't look like Scout Motors, which is a good thing, because, you know, we just had to pay $150 million more than what we anticipated to Scout Motors. So let's hope that Novant Health and this Octapharma is a good, clean deal that does not have any issues. All right, let's I tell you what I want to do. I think we'll take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we've got a lot more to talk about. So why don't you stay right with me, fill your coffee or your tea, and we will be right back. Maybe we'll be right back. We will be right back. I'm Ann Eller. Don't you go away.
Greenwood Pathway House helps people overcome homelessness permanently. Cara came to Pathway House after using her Social Security payments to live in a motel. She was able to recover from multiple health issues, open a checking and savings account, save money for 2 months' rent and a security deposit, receive trauma counseling, and move into her own apartment. Go to gwdpathway.org to find out how you can help make success stories like this possible.
Self Regional Healthcare is currently hiring for clinical and support staff positions. At Self Regional, we strive to create the best experience for our patients and our team members. We offer flexible schedules, competitive pay, and generous benefits in an environment that is supportive of your individual needs. Come see what makes Self Regional a great place to work. View our current job openings at selfregional.org/careers.
There's no place like this place anywhere.
Hey, did you see Bob? He just tried a yoga class, upside down.
And Jane just swam 10 laps while juggling her water bottle.
Somehow, I feel like I belong here.
You do. This is the Greenwood YMCA, where everyone's having fun and everybody knows your name.
There's no place like this place anywhere. Come join the fun and make 2026 the year you belong. At the Greenwood YMCA, there's no place like this place.
Never give up, never surrender. Never give up, never surrender. Never give up, never surrender. You heard it, WCRS. We will never give up, never surrender. Keep listening right here on WCRS. We try harder because we will never give up, we will never surrender. Well, I won't ever give up or surrender. Penny, she may sleep through it, but she's saying, I don't care about this show. It has nothing to do with me. Anyways, Penny would really love it if you tell her good morning here this morning. If you happen to be watching on WCRS Facebook Live here this morning, love to get a comment from you. Hey, how you doing this morning? I'm Ann Eller. Penny says, say something to me. Say something to me. That's right. So, by the way, it is tax-free weekend coming up this weekend. So I think it starts, Thursday night, I believe, at midnight and goes through Sunday night at 12. So that is something you may want to know. Right? That if you've got school supplies or all these different things you can be out there buying for tax-free, it's going to be a busy time. So you kind of have to balance. The money saved, is it worth the standing in line? But anyways, it is out there. It was originally designed for school supplies, back to school, this type of thing. And of course, it's expanded into a lot more. By the way, I just flipped on my phone, and what did I come across? Well, it's gone now. Said something about Chick-fil-A, and they are going to have a bring your pet to work day. So bring your pet to Chick-fil-A. So there you go, Chick-fil-A. What do you think about that? I think that is, let me see if I can find it here real quick. 7 new, what do they have? I just saw it, and then when I can't, strawberries when you drop no. Don't be talking to me. August the 12th will be Bring Your Dog to Chick-fil-A. We'll get more details about that. I just saw that one when I opened the computer, and then, like so many things in my life, it just flashes away. All right, let's get back to where we were talking here this morning. I guess I could put me on the screen. As I said earlier today, we are going to have Police Chief TJ Shadone with us this afternoon at 5 o'clock. I'm sure you want to tune in. This will be his first interview since DJ Keller lost his life, and what it's meant to the community, but also what it's meant to the police force. And lots of discussions out there. Everything from flock cameras, I'm sure there'll be a lively discussion on that. And of course, you can get in on the discussion. That's why I like doing Facebook Live, because you can be watching it on Facebook. You can be commenting. You can send us a text to 864-332-9355. But the biggest thing is we get a lot of engagement. And Police Chief TJ Shadone always enjoys coming on the show, and I enjoy having him. So make sure you get those questions ready. All right, now this is the time of the show. I was listening to this great talk radio station, WCRS, last night, and a caller called in and said, we need a new internet. And while I don't think the talk show host did that really a great job with discussing it, I did find it interesting we need a new internet. Now, what would happen if we just, we can get new TVs, we can get new refrigerators, stoves. How do we get a new internet? This is the topic that came up in my mind. I thought, what a great question. Now, as I said, I don't believe the talk show host gave it full, or let it breathe and thought about all the things you would have. So if you were able to create a new internet, what would you create? That is my question to you here today. What things would you say, oh my God, we got to keep this aspect of the internet? And what things would you say, oh my God, we've got to get rid of it? Now, because remember Al Gore? He's the one that connected it. He's the one that started it. And when you look back at it, it really took quite a while for it to get to its state of today. Back in the day, there was a lot of skepticism about whether the internet was a good thing or not. I think people still have a lot of skepticism and what is it coming in through our computers. But I think there is a difference between what social media is and what the internet is. The internet's ability to connect us has been, I think, a good thing. When you look at the medical aspects of it, the internet has been a great thing for being able to give people more information. But then look at the industries that are no longer with us. Encyclopedias. Who needs a encyclopedia when you have the internet? You remember the encyclopedia? And if you were really upscale, you had a set sitting in your house. Yes. And if you weren't, then you just didn't know anything and you had to go to the library. Actually, libraries, I think, have been phenomenal in their ability to survive with the internet and actually to integrate the internet into their being. But it would have been possible at some point. People were going, we won't need libraries anymore. And today our libraries are as vibrant or maybe even more vibrant of the original library where you went and you were told, shh. So I don't know. I think it's an interesting discussion. Maybe you want to think about it a little bit and get back to me on that one. If we could... Knowing what we know now is always, hindsight is always 100%. What would we design into the internet and what would we block out of the internet? But part of the reason, whether you're talking TikTok, look at where we were just 2 or 3 years ago. Oh my God, TikTok has got to go. Now TikTok is a entrenched part. But again, that falls under social media. As far as the internet, what would you change about the internet to give us, quote, a new internet? The information that we're able to have at our fingertips, phenomenal. What I think is part of the problem is today with AI and all these other things, it's hard to know what is real. That's one part of it. The other part that I find very frustrating is you see all these products guaranteed to do all this for you. And they'll even give you a money-back guarantee if you can find them once you've bought this product. But how much there is absolutely, positively no regulation, and maybe there shouldn't be any regulation. Maybe it's my fault for falling for some of these products. Oh my God, this could solve my problem. I need this product. And you know what? Once you click on that product, you are going to see so many ads in your feed that you just go, oh, if I could just get rid of it. And the only way you can is to buy the darn product. Anybody had that problem out there? 864-332-9355, 864-332-9355. So if you had the ability to change the internet, what would you do? I think that's a great question for just chatting. You know, now this again gets into social media, but one of the other big problems I think in social media is all the gossip sites. And, you know, at least now they're coming out as gossip sites. They have the word gossip. So, you know, if you go and read any of those posts in there, you're putting yourself at jeopardy as knowing what the real truth is. And some of it is so veiled in such a way that it is very hard to tell what is truth or what is not truth. So that's do we need a new internet? What would you do to come up with a new internet? If you had the power to start totally over, well, first question, would you connect the internet? I think the answer is yes. There are so many good things that have come out of the internet. It's all this other stuff, though, that has made it unfun. And, of course, there's been travesties in industries because of the internet. Like I said, encyclopedias. Look what's happened to catalogs. Oh, my God. I used to love getting all my catalogs. Jeff used to hate it. I used to sit there and I'd have them in a pile right there beside my chair. And when I was sitting there at night, not scrolling through a phone, I'd be scrolling through catalogs, just enjoying looking at all the products, particularly as Christmas came and you got all these catalogs to look at. And then Jeff would go, Christmas would come, and Jeff would go, you know, you can throw those away. I'd go, no, I still might want to buy something. Anyways, catalogs certainly have taken a hit, haven't they? It's all online. And I would ask you a question. Do you think that seeing it online is the same as having that catalog in your hand? I would say not. I'd say having that catalog in my hand was much more interesting. I don't know. There was just something about being able to look at it. I know now we have the ability to look at everything ad nauseum from all different angles, videos of people telling us why we should buy this product, all the comments, all the reviews, etc. I know we have all that. But did you like shopping out of a catalog, a magazine catalog, better? I'll bet if you are of a certain age, you're going to tell me yes. Oh, I see somebody go, yeah, I hate shopping online. Well, there you go. I mean, it is convenient. The very fact that you can have something, shoot, if you order from Walmart, you can order it in the morning and have it in the afternoon. It's unbelievable. In fact, they'll even deliver it to your door. Unbelievable, the speed that we can get things. But is it the same? It's kind of like the block parties, the National Night Out. How cool was National Night Out? I wish we would bring that back to our community and be able to have that sense of community. Oh, I knew I'd get Stephanie out there. She said there was nothing better than getting that Sears Roebuck Christmas catalog. Yeah, and it went on for days. Do you know, back when Jeff was the antique vintager, he would be on eBay buying catalogs, Sears catalogs, Montgomery Ward catalogs. He also bought a lot of jewelry catalogs of back in the day. And why did he do this? This really was ingenious. He bought them because Jeff loved to sit there and look through books. and he would actually be able to, he had almost literally a photographic memory. He could remember what page he saw something on, and when a person brought their ring in to have it evaluated, he would be able to say, do you know that was in the 1952 Sears catalog? And they'd just look at him like, what? And he'd go get that catalog, open it up to page 256, and there would be that ring. It was totally, totally amazing. And so catalogs can serve a historic perspective too, from the standpoint that we have something that we can refer back to see how things were done. Sears used to sell, I'll just go off topic here. Sears used to sell catalog that homes, a build by number home. You could actually order a home. Do you know, right here on Durst Avenue, there are a couple, at least a couple, Sears catalog homes that were built when Sears would send you everything for the home, and then the home could be assembled. Sometimes, don't you think, when we think we have moved so far forward, that we really had things pretty darn good the way they were? I think possibly. But it's gone too far. We can't turn off the internet, or can we? And what would people do if you turned off the internet? There would be no catalogs to read. There's no more Sears catalogs. It's all online. So what would we do? We'd probably die if we turned off the internet. If we turned off the internet, we couldn't order like we did back in the day. It's an interesting discussion, isn't it? Interesting that you better be wary of what you wish for. When I see all the social media posts today and everybody competing for your 2 seconds to get you to stop, and look at what they've put out there, it really is dizzying to think about. And to think about that just, 5 years ago, we weren't so sophisticated. And now everybody is getting so sophisticated. It kind of makes me wonder, what will be the next thing that will happen? How far can we take this? That is the question. We already can do doctor's appointments on the internet. I've never really understood how that could go that well, but you can even do that. Doc right there on the internet. To me, I crave that human connection. And probably I'm going to be one of the few people left in this world that still enjoys looking somebody in the eye, having that conversation, understanding how they felt, and trying to make sure that people understand how I felt. It's an amazing time we live in. In a lot of ways, it's a sad time because we've lost some of these human connections, and yet AI and robots and teachers in the classroom that are robots, those things are changing. Do we really want them to change? I think not. I think I want to be the snack dealer, and I want to be able to give Penny and see her as the snack stealer. So I'm going to maintain my life the way it is and hope that I live and enjoy life to the very, very end. And I hope that you all will be with me right here on WCRS Radio. So that's about all I have to say for today. I hope you, if you've got any comments about the internet, whether you have your opinion now or whether you think about them later, I think this is going to be a discussion I would like to continue. What would you change the internet to if we could, quote, get a new internet? Yes. Stephanie just said, I knew I'd get her eventually. I think we need to go back to when Dr. Baker made house calls on Little House on the Prairie. I'm not sure of all the advancements or progress. That's exactly what I'm saying. Look at how we lived for years. And now our society is in such a flux. We just can't even tell anymore, can we? We can have so many choices to get things instantaneously, but are we really any better off? Have we lost that human connection? I think we're in the possibilities of doing that. And I think that's why a lot of people sometimes are starting to turn off their phones. We're going back to maybe with having dinner without a phone, with somebody scrolling there. Scroll, scroll, scroll. It's like being at the concert the other night with the Vintage Vixens, Saturday night in uptown Greenwood. Most everybody there that was of a vintage age was sitting there enjoying the music, showing me peace signs, just grooving with the times. And then there was that, 15-year-old sitting there with his head down, scrolling through the phone. And what a dichotomy of what the world is about. Other people, vintage people, remembering a time when that's what you did. You got involved in the concert. And then the 15-year-old who was like, why the heck am I here? Let me scroll through my phone. That's going to do it for me, folks. I would love to hear if you have any ideas. If we could change the internet, what would we change the internet to? A topic that will sit on the shelf and we'll come back to. Hey, I'm Ann Eller. I'm here with Penny this morning, the snack stealer and the snack dealer, right here on WCRS Radio. That's going to do it for us. Be back this afternoon, 5 o'clock. Don't forget, TJ Shadone will be with us. Oh, and of note, Wednesday afternoon, we are going to have Dr. Daniel Crockett, the superintendent of schools at Ware Shoals, and Christy Hodges, the band director, come down and talk to us about all the fanfare and advances happening over there in Ware Shoals. Oh, yes, we may even talk about the fact that the band is going to Pearl Harbor to march in the parade over there, and why that is important and significant. So that's tomorrow's show, today's show, TJ Shadone, right here on WCRS Radio. That does it for us. Bye-bye, everybody. This is WCRS Radio. Take it away.